From yummy pizza roll-ups to a delicious take on avocado toast. Today I've got 4 no sandwich lunch ideas to share with you. I'm Jennifer and welcome back to Subscriber Lunch Sunday. In these videos, subscribers of all ages and from all over the world send me their lunch ideas because I love inspiring others to create fun lunches. Now give this video a big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button, and there's a link in the description box below if you'd like to submit your lunch idea. Now let's get started. Hey guys, today I'm kicking things off with a lunch idea sent in by Carter. Carter is from Mississippi, and for this lunch I'm going to be using lots of red and blue and superheroes. Now if you guys can comment, let me know down below who your favorite superhero is. Mine is probably Thor. So the first thing I'm going to be making for Carter's lunch are some pizza roll-ups. And I'm going to be doing this a little differently than I normally would. For this, I'm going to start with a really big tortilla, and I'm going to add about 1.5 spoonfuls of marinara sauce. This is just sauce from a jar, so it's quick and ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and spread that all over the tortilla, and I'm going to try to get it pretty close to the edges. Next comes my favorite part, which is the cheese. I'm using some shredded mozzarella cheese for this. Of course, you can use whatever cheese you prefer, and I'm not skimping on this cheese, you guys. I'm putting a nice good layer of cheese, and I want to get it all the way to the edges. Now you can probably tell that I sort of have a pizza thing going on here, so of course I'm going to be topping it with some pepperoni next. Now I really like to use turkey pepperoni. It's not quite as greasy as the regular stuff. I'm adding a full layer of pepperoni here, and I'm putting it as close to the edges as I can. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop this into the oven for just a few minutes, not long at all. I just want the cheese to melt basically. I'd recommend keeping your eye on this because it could definitely get overcooked quickly. So after just a few minutes, I'm left with what looks like a really delicious pizza, but I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to wait just a minute or two. I want this to cool down a bit so that I can touch it, but I still want it to be warm enough to roll it up. Now the edges of this tortilla are a little bit crispy, and that's fine, but as you can see, as I'm rolling up this tortilla, the center is still nice and soft and pliable. So now that I have that all rolled up, I'm going to set it to the side and let it cool down completely before I cut into it. Now this is definitely going to be eaten room temperature, but I just wanted to heat up that cheese because it's going to act like our glue. So once I slice into this, it's not going to fall apart. So now I can go ahead and add all of these delicious pizza rolls to the lunchbox and then move on to the fruit. I'm actually going to be adding 3 different kinds of fruit. First is a mandarin orange. My kids love these. I'm also adding some strawberries. I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the top and then dice it into smaller pieces. And finally, I'm also adding in some blueberries. These are pretty much ready to go. All I have to do is wash them. Now since I love adding food pics wherever I can, and I happen to have quite a few superheroes, I think I'll go ahead and add a Captain America pic right into the fruit. I know my kids love using food pics to make fruit skewers as they're eating their lunch. And now it's time for some vegetables. For Carter's lunch, I'm adding some super simple vegetables that are already ready to go. I'm going to be adding a handful of baby carrots. And I suppose this might be a fruit depending on how you look at it, but I'm also adding in some cherry tomatoes. And for this cherry tomato, I'm going to add a little tomato topper pick, which is a lot of words for something so little and cute. This is going to go right on the top here, just like that. Now for Carter's snack, I'm going to go ahead and add some veggie straws. I almost always have some of these on hand in my pantry. I know my kids love them. I get the big bag from Costco, and they stay fresh for a long time in these containers. These straws fit so perfectly right in this space. And then last but not least, I'm going to throw in a special drink for Carter. So what I'm going to do is recycle this old Good to Go bottle with the Captain America topper, of course, and I'm going to put sweet tea right in here. And there you have it, guys. There's everything in Carter's lunch. Next up, I'm going to be making Zeri's lunch. Zeri is 15 years old and is from New York. For her main course, I'm going to start with some good old mac and cheese. This is just the classic Kraft style mac and cheese. And while it's still nice and hot, I'm going to add it right into the thermos. But I'm not quite done yet. To go with this mac and cheese, I also cooked up some ground turkey, and I just seasoned it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and I cooked it until it was a little bit crispy. Now I can go ahead and add this turkey to the mac and cheese and then mix it all up together. Now that that's done, it's time to move on to the fruits and vegetable. For Zeri's fruit, I'm going to add some chunks of pineapple, and I'm going to pair that with some strawberries. Now I love this combination. It looks pretty and it tastes delicious. Next, in this side compartment, I'm going to go ahead and add some corn on the cob. Now, I did go ahead and steam this for just a few minutes, but I'm not going to add anything else to it. No salt, no butter, it's good just like it is. Now, moving on to the snack. For Zeri's lunch today, she requested some popcorners. Now, I'm actually a huge fan of popcorners. I really like the kettle corn and the cheddar flavors. But today, I'm just adding the classic sea salt flavor because that's what I have on hand. Next up is the treat. Zeri requested Rice Krispie treats. It's been a long time since I've made these. Now, I'm actually turning these Rice Krispie treats into balls, and then I'm rolling them in some sprinkles. This is so easy and fun, even your kids could help you make these. And finally, for her drink today, she requested some lemonade. And there you have it, guys. Zeri's lunch turned out fantastic. This next lunch idea was sent in by Emily from New York. I'm going to start Emily's lunch by making a very interesting sounding main course, something I've never made before, and she calls them Mexican pizzas. She told me that her family makes these all the time. The first step is to fry some tortillas in a thin layer of oil, just for a few minutes on each side. Then I'm going to take them out and let them dry and cool down. Next, I'm taking one of my tortillas and I'm going to add some cheese, followed by a layer of ground turkey. Of course, you could also use ground beef if you prefer. Next, I'm adding a little bit more cheese right on top. And then Emily says you can also add any other toppings that you like, such as tomatoes or onions. Next, I'm going to top everything with a second tortilla. Then pop it into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes or until everything is nice and melted together. This is looking so good, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this into quarters like a quesadilla. That way I can fit them into the lunchbox. And to go along with this, I'm going to be adding a small container of sour cream. But this sour cream also has a little bit of taco sauce in it, so it's gonna have lots of yummy flavor. That combination sounds so good. So now that that is all finished, I can move on to the fruit. For Emily's lunch, she requested strawberries, and to these strawberries, I'm going to add just a little sprinkle of sugar. Emily said that her grandmother used to always have this snack ready for her every time she would visit. I think that is such a fun memory. When I was a kid, every time I went to my grandmother's house, she made me mac and cheese. Now for Emily's vegetable, I'm going to go ahead and add some broccoli, and she requested that I put Italian dressing instead of ranch for dipping. I actually think that sounds really good. If you can comment, let me know down below what kind of things you like to dip your broccoli in. For her snack, Emily requested some cheddar goldfish, and for her treat, she requested churros. But instead of adding the traditional churros, I thought it'd be really fun to add some of these churro bite cereal pieces. They definitely have the flavor of a churro with that cinnamon and sugar, but of course these are already ready to go. so they're really easy to throw into a lunch. And then to complete Emily's lunch, the very last thing I'm going to be adding is some milk. And there you have it, Emily's lunch is complete. Okay guys, now that brings us to Ophelia's lunch. She is 23 years old and is from Nevada. For Ophelia's lunch, I'm going to start by making some avocado toast, but not just any avocado toast. Instead of using regular bread, I'm going to be using some bagel thins. And before I do anything else, I'm going to pop these into the toaster for just a little bit. Now to these bagels, I'm going to be adding a layer of this really delicious chive and onion cream cheese. I'm just going to smear this on here like that. Now the next thing I'm going to be adding is some avocados. I have a really nice ripe avocado here. I cut this avocado in half and then removed the peel. Now I'm going to very thinly slice it just like this. And then I kind of like to spread it out as I put it on top of the bagel with that cream cheese. I think it looks really pretty just like this. Next, I'm going to sprinkle on a little bit of this everything but the bagel seasoning. So this has some onion powder, some garlic powder, salt and pepper. It's really good. Now, of course, this would be delicious just like it is, but I'm going to go ahead and add it into the lunchbox and then top it with a few extra things. Ophelia also requested a thin slice of tomato. Then I'm going to top everything with a fried egg. Doesn't that sound so yummy? So now that our tasty main course is done, it's time to move on to the fruit. For Ophelia's lunch, I'm adding a little mandarin orange. I did go ahead and peel this already. And then to go along with this, I'm also adding lots of red grapes. Seedless grapes, to be exact. And just for fun, I'm also going to throw in just a couple of green grapes as well. I think that combination of red and green is really pretty in the lunchbox. Now in this back section of the lunchbox, I'm also going to be adding in some cucumber slices. And instead of just leaving these as whole slices, I did go ahead and cut them in half, so they're sort of a half moon shape. That's just how Ophelia likes them. And then to go along with those, I'm also adding in some cherry tomatoes. And then you guys, I'm going to be adding something very special for the dipping sauce. It's not going to be ranch this time. For Ophelia's lunch, she requested some Thai peanut sauce. Now, I've never tried this before. It sounds really interesting. She says it's good on the veggies and even the grapes. So I think there's just enough space to put this sauce right down in there. And then on the side, I'm also going to be adding in a string cheese. That's going to be a really good snack. And then for her treat, I'm adding in a cosmic brownie. And then finally, the very last thing I'm adding into Ophelia's lunch is some coconut water. This time I picked up these really interesting looking ones. I found these at Walmart. These come in this really cute little glass jar. There's actually little pieces of coconut floating inside. If you'd like even more fun lunch ideas with no sandwiches, you can click on these videos right over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.